Okay. Welcome to another episode. Please invite your friends.
Share. Invite your friends and family.
We have a beautiful couple today.
Oh, yes. I can't wait for them to come on.
I know, right? I'm so excited.
Me too. Hi, guys.
How you feel about today's show?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm really excited about today's show.
You
can't. You saw that. You saw how many messages on Messenger that came last week.
Oh yeah.
Wanting to talk about this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of parents are asking like, how can we do this? So it's gonna be amazing.
Exactly.
And I think this is the right couple to talk about this.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, Doreen.
Hey, Doreen. Hey, Guido.
Hey, Guido.
Yeah.
Please invite your friends, invite other couples.
And share. We'll be starting soon. Yeah. I'm just trying to. Oh, yes. Come on, guys. We will just wait a little bit for more people to come in and we will start.
Hi, Karin.
Okay.
We're going to start as soon as we get what? 100?
Even I wanted to say 40. It's already 40. I wanted to say 40. We already have 40 people. I think we can start. Mm-hmm.
All right. This is a very, very interesting topic. Yes. First of all, I have a confession. Like us, me and Winnie, when it comes to this topic, we failed on our last one. Am I right?
Yeah.
This one, I don't know if we could say like she's spoiled or what, but this one, she's taking our time. Like,
oh my gosh,
too much of our time.
Yes.
So I'm sure
she's like a boss baby.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure we're gonna get some help from the beautiful couple.
Yeah.
That's gonna join us very soon.
Because our baby, our last born, hopefully. Yeah, our last born is a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
She is very fun, but a lot of work.
I think she's spoiled.
She's spoiled? You think so?
Yeah,
Who spoiled her? You?
Both of us.
Oh yeah. I mean, they say that all kids come with their own packages. Exactly. This one came with a huge one. We thought we were pros. No. Like we could take our babies 8 p.m. to bed, and then they wake up the following day. Mm-hmm. This one will go to bed mostly the same time we go to bed. So if we go at 3, sometimes she'll wait.
Exactly.
And go to bed at 3 too. And it's just a mess. So this is a great topic. And remember, one of our friends back home was also saying she's depressed about this thing. Like when she comes back from work, her babies are like, mommy. And that time they forget about daddy. But sometimes they also go to daddy. Daddy just comes back from work. Daddy. Like there's no time for yourself. And she was like, I'm deeply concerned. And please, guys, if we can have somebody to help us, like talk about this, because it's a mess, but a blessing too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, are we ready for our guest?
Yes. Yeah, we have 113 people. Yeah, we can invite our guest in. So, the people are many now.
Okay. All right, we are adding our guest to our stream right now.
Hi.
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 Hi,
beautiful
beautiful.
people.
Oh,
I know, right?
We love
And I'm so excited about you guys because I know we're gonna get some help from you too.
it.
Because this topic,
We're happy to be
I'm
here.
Yes,
telling you,
we
we
are.
affect us a lot. How are you guys doing, by the way?
We're doing good.
Yeah.
Busy, but good as always. How are you guys?
Oh,
we're
we're
good.
doing
Thank
very good,
you.
very
We're
How's
good.
the
good.
weather? It's still snowing?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
snowing. At least it's getting warm right now, so everything is melting down like really
Oh,
fast.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, we saw the pictures and the videos. We're like, we don't envy you at all.
No, we don't.
We take a little shot of water.
I'll take my little
I know,
right?
tonics and I'm good. Can't.
Yeah.
We are so excited to have you guys. We are
Well,
so
Thank
pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Good.
So for the people that just don't know the couple that we have Olga and Fali Matutu, Mr. and Mrs. Matutu. They are both ministers. I'm not gonna say Fali is a pastor because maybe might not allow me to say that. So he's a minister, he's a preacher. So I'll just say that. He's a pastor. I mean, I'm sorry guys, he's a minister.
Winnie.
I know,
I
right?
didn't mean to say that, but he's a minister. He's a minister of the gospel of God, and Olga is a minister too. I remember one day I joked with Olga. I'm like, "You guys gotta be pastors," and she was like, "Don't talk about that. Don't say that."
Don't be saying that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to be pastors to preach. Olga is a minister. She's a singer. She's a gospel singer. So many of you know her and have heard her work. She's a very good singer, good worshiper. So if you haven't checked on Olga Matutu, not Olga Matutu, on her music page, it's Olga Mose.
Yes.
Muse or
You
Mose.
said it the first time. Muse. Easy.
Mose, yeah. Olga Mose, and check out Fali. He is a preacher and a brother. So he's not a pastor, but he's a preacher and a brother. Yes.
Multi-talented. She has a lot of-
Yes.
oh,
And
God.
the other thing about Olga, if you're doing weddings, parties, this is your girl. She's gonna decorate, and she's gonna make you feel like a queen. She did our wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she's done hundreds of weddings and parties. So this is your girl. They work together with the husband. It's a family company, the husband and the wife. So if you're looking for somebody to decorate your wedding, your party, these are your people. So we get into it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. So we're
So,
gonna get
Mr.
into
Matutu,
it.
Yes, sir.
what's your take on this one? I'll start with you. This
Okay.
topic is very, very interesting.
Bring it on. Let's go.
What's the topic, babe?
The topic is how to spice up your marriage when you have children. That's the topic.
Hey. Yes.
So there it is. That's the question.
That's what you want me. How to spice it up, right?
Mhm.
Well, we could be on this all day. It's a challenge. For people, when you get married, you think everything is good. It's just you and your wife. You know, it was just me and my baby.
Yeah.
You know, we were chilling. You know, no kids around. Did whatever we wanted to, and then number one came, challenge, and then number two comes, another challenge. We stopped. I don't know what y'all were thinking. Y'all went for number three, and some people got number five, but never. Man, it has to come down first to communication.
Yes.
As a couple, you have to be able to communicate and make sure that, remember that your children, one day they're going to leave that house.
That's true.
But once they turn 18, 20, 21, whatever it is, they're going to leave. And just like we forgot about our parents, they're going to move on and they're going to forget about us. So you have to focus on communicating with one another and seeing how can we adjust what we need to do. Like an example, I know when Kaya, our firstborn, when she was born, it was a struggle. You know, how do we keep it spicy? How do we keep it romantic in the midst of all of it? But, sometimes we have to realize, hey, it takes a village to raise a child. Sometimes you have to realize that you're not alone. So if you need just a couple time, get a babysitter, drop them off at a family member, go out on a date night. And if you want a different environment, like one thing that we've done recently, where we just go and get a hotel room, get someone to watch the kids, get a hotel room, and keep it different. It's a whole different environment. It's not just your own bedroom or your own house, but it's different. So it's just communication, knowing what each other wants, making sure that you have someone to watch the kids, babysitting, family, whoever it might be. If it's just a couple of hours, if it's for a night, it's very important so that as a couple, you keep that unity, you keep that freshness. And during that time, you try not to talk about the kids. Leave the kids out of the conversation and just focus on you. But I got some more stuff, but I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna let my lovely wife pick up on that. Y'all gave us this topic, and we wrote a bunch of stuff down that we could talk about. Even some popular topics that people don't like to discuss, but it spices up your marriage.
With the kids, it's been interesting. So our first thing that we did was to make sure that Kaya was not in our bed. The first thing, like when we brought her home, and Winnie, you can relate, as a mom, you just want to hold that baby. You just want to see her breathe. And you're almost like waking up every 2 minutes to be like, is she still there? Is she really mine? Like, just, you want to have her around. But before we got pregnant, we talked about it. We said, okay, are we going to have, the kids' room and everything? So we prepped the room just like every parent does. But the advice that my friend had told me is that the sooner you get him out of your bed, the sooner you can go back to enjoying your husband. And I remember taking that advice to heart. So Kaya, we brought her from the hospital, put her automatically in her bed. But that meant more work. We had to keep getting up and getting up. So it was a lot. But what I noticed is that after 6 months, it paid off. Of course, 3 months later, she stopped all the crying every 2 hours because Kaya really gave us a run for our money. Every 2 hours, that girl would wake up. So in the morning, you're tired. You don't want to do nothing else. And you just, and you have to go to work. So it was a lot. So by keeping her out of our bed was the best decision, because then it allowed us to kind of have that cuddle time. When she falls asleep, we know we have time for each other. So that was number one. And of course, to spice things up, he talked about date night. Our date night is a commitment, like serious. I take it very seriously. We make sure that we pick a new place every so often. Because I know when we were dating, Feli would always find these really cool things for us to do, whether it was painting or I don't know if you guys have been to this place where you can cook your own food with a chef or different things. So when we got married, I was like, you're going to keep that up because please don't stop. And I gotta really give him kudos because he kept up with that, like just bringing new ideas for things for us to do, and having a constant babysitter has helped us. But we have two. If one says I can't, we have number two to run to, and that way we are always keeping up with date night. And of course, having my mom in the house has been a blessing. A blessing. Whenever mom travels, we feel it. We really know that mom is not here. And so I love having mom around because she helps a lot with the kids. So please, my biggest advice first is to get someone to help with the kids. Whenever you can. Yeah.
I think we did very good on our first two kids with Andy and Edwin, but on this one, we always want to sleep next to us.
Oh man.
She'll start crying like the whole night, so we don't really sleep. So what would you advise us to do? Because to be honest, she's been with us in our room since she was born. She's never moved.
That's no better.
I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. I think maybe she's too spoiled or what? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't even know what happened because we thought we were pros. Like
she got you guys beat.
So bad.
But you can put her in her room and just let her cry there instead of crying in your bed. So if she cries in her room, you are there with her. Once she falls asleep, you run right back. She cries, you come right back.
Yeah, I mean, you go.
Oh, it's
This
You're
guy,
in trouble.
What's the topic? Keep the relationship spicy. You want it spicy? She gotta go.
Yeah, she gotta go.
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna take time,
Yeah.
but you have to break that habit. Otherwise, you're gonna find yourself 3 years old and she's still sleeping right there in the bed.
Oh, I'm
Honestly,
telling you.
I gotta tell you, you guys say your last one, Leland, was an easy baby, but Leland made me. It is where we had a rough patch where we just were struggling with because my job we had a layoff. So they had laid off for a while. So I was looking for a new job, and most of the jobs were just like you work contracts for 2 months or you work here for 3 months. And as you're financially stressed, it's very hard to find that time to have romance and be physically, as active as you would want to be as a couple. So for us, I gotta say, like the financial stress really put a bump in our marriage. But one thing that I keep coming back to this guy because he's like Superman. Anyway, to me, what he kept doing is that he just said, okay, babe, don't worry about the money. I'm going to take on everything. I'm going to take a second job. I'm going to do this. I just want you to focus on you and I want you to focus on the kids. So one thing that he made sure was that every Saturday I went to get my nails done, my feet away from the kids. And this is for all the mummies because we have a hard time taking care of ourselves. But I noticed that once I was rested and not so stressed, I had more time to be a little more, to find more time for him. So I think also as mothers, find time to just do something for you, whatever it is, whether it's like doing your hair, hanging out with the girls, whatever it is, try to find that time away from the kids. So when you come back to your husband, you are all lovey-dovey.
That's a very good point. I remember our friends from South Africa mentioned something like that. They were like, we need to let our women sometimes move away from the kids. And what was going to both sides, the man and the woman, if you are financially stressed and you have children, for real, like you said, your relationship will be on rocks. Like,
Yes.
It will.
and money and what? Money, children, and sex. These things makes your marriage on bumpy road.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and also just to add on that, when you have children, both of you, when you're stressed about children, it's so hard to be involved romantically.
That's right.
And it's so hard to be involved romantically, and it's so hard to take care of yourself. So a lot of women have written to us saying they are so stressed out, like they are almost going into depression. Like, what can I do? Like, I remember when I was pregnant for our first child with Nandi, the nurses at the hospital told me, oh, when you after baby, you can go to the depression centers for mothers, and that didn't make sense. Like, your stories when you have a child, you love them, it's so beautiful and everything. Why is she talking about going to depression centers for mothers? So when we had Winandi, obviously that didn't click in so much. When we had the second one, now the third one, oh my God, I'm like, oh, she was right. So I think some women do go through depression. Even some men do go through depression. So how can you guys encourage someone?
Okay, just to add to that, we had someone who sent us a message. She was like, she doesn't get any help from her husband, and she's always like the husband just they come back from work and just say the baby's crying in the night and all that.
Yeah,
so that really contributes. Like a marriage is like on the rocks right now. So that was one of the questions too. So how would you advise also someone like taking care of the kids just the women's job?
No, I never believed that taking care of the kids is just a woman's job. It's times have evolved, times have changed. Not at times the men that want to say, my wife is going to take care of everything, that time doesn't fly. Because if it was back in those days, remember that back in those days, it was only the men that worked. The men provided everything. So unless you're that man that's actually providing everything from A to Z and your wife is completely well taken care of, and that's a decision that you guys make upon, as a family, that's one thing. But even if that's the case, but in most cases, as we see, that's not the case. It takes, especially in the Western countries, you see where it takes two household incomes in order to even be able to survive in most cases. So it's unfair for a husband to now put all the strain and pressure on his wife and then expect also to be pleased at night while you just come home and do absolutely nothing. A lot of times, I think men, always go by that scripture, wife, be submissive to your husband. They love that scripture. You a woman, you have to be submissive to me. But they forget that second part. Men, love your wife as Christ loved the church. We, as husbands, we have the bigger responsibility than our wives. Our wives are just asked to be submitted because that's the authority that God has placed upon us. But God has told us husbands to love our wives the way that Christ loved the church. Hence, Christ died for us. Hence is how much as husbands we also need to sacrifice when it comes to our marriages for our wives and for our children, which means that when it comes to raising them, we have to be hands-on. You see that your wife has been working. You see that she also has to take care of the kids. You have to come in and step in. Set up a time, set up and say, okay, babe, this is what you do. This is what I do. Like for me, I don't cook. That's not going to happen. Like unless she's extremely sick or something and I'm going to step in, but it's going to be breakfast food. That's going to be omelet. Yeah, I make a mean omelet. That's about the only thing I can make, But when it comes to like cleaning the house, helping clean the house, dishes, that's me. I love washing dishes. That's me all day. Like changing the kids' diapers, all of that, it's me. Playing with the kids, taking them out for playtime, like going outside, having to have play fighting with them, going through all their crazy, Daddy, let's play fight, let's do all this. I love it. That's me. Like I'm involved in it, and when it comes to now with the kids being in school, homework and so forth, we split time. We'll alternate days. Hey, today you take care of Kai's homework, especially with this stay at home and working from home. It's a whole lot more complicated now for those that do it from home, but we split time. So it's, like I said, it goes back to communication. It goes back to who was your strength and your weaknesses. Like, I know when it comes to laundry and all that stuff, I hate doing all that. Picking out the kids' clothes, I hate doing all that. But my baby does a wonderful job in all of it, so it takes both of us. But when both of you are involved in one thing that I've realized, so for all men that are listening, please, it is your responsibility to take care of your children, not only financially, but to be involved in their lives and be present, praying for them, speaking things into existence for them, but being present, because that's what kids are always going to remember.
That's true.
You being aware, you working, that doesn't make an impact on them. The kids don't know. They could care less. They just want to know that daddy was here, daddy spent time with me. That's what's always going to be in their mind. But for a husband, if you want to spice up your romance, you want to spice up in the bedroom, one thing my wife has told me, one thing many women say, there's nothing more sexier than a man that's actually out there taking care of his kids. There's nothing more sexier than a wife watching her man change the diapers, put the kids in the car, make their bottles, put the backpack on and let's go, kids. We're going outside, babe. Just go rest. I got it. There's nothing more sexier than that. So you want spice? Do that. Trust me. When you come home that evening, your bath water gonna be running. She gonna tell you to relax. She gonna put the kids to bed, and then y'all gonna have something spicy.
Yes. Amen. Yes.
Everything you said is like 100%. With our children, what I always say this jokingly, I could be gone for 3 months. He will be just fine, in the sense that he's such a hands-on dad. When we first had Kaya, I was so like, I'm the mom, I need to do this, I need to do that. So every time he would ask, I'm like, no, don't help. I got it. But then I had to quickly realize I was exhausted by the time the day was done. So then I was like, okay, let me just show you how I want to. And that's another thing about the ladies. Show your man how you do everything for the child. If it's making the baby bottle, if it's making the food, you can expect him to just jump in if he doesn't know what to do. So I think it's very important for you to like walk him through like, okay, I need you to do this way and that way, because most of the time women, we have that automatic instinct to know what to do, but it's very important to show him. And if you don't show him, then he's going to do it and it's going to get on your nerve because he's going to do it wrong. And then you have an argument and then he will stop doing it. So I think it's very important to say, okay, babe, for the diapers, please do it this way. And always agree on how you're going to address the kids. Because right now we're talking about babies, but if you have grown kids, you have teenagers, or you have 10-year-olds, mommy says something, daddy says another thing, and then the kids are like, oh, so when I want something, I'm going to go to mom. When I want this, I'm going to go to dad. And then before you know it, there's friction in your marriage. So in raising kids, deciding on how you're going to educate them is a big deal. Because at the end of the day, the spice in the marriage only stays if you're able to entertain it. It doesn't just happen like that. You have to maintain it. You have to keep cultivating. And also what I liked when we first got married has changed. Like it has become either better or I've discovered something new about myself, because as women, we evolve, we get better, we get more interesting, we get different things. So then he cannot just go like, wait, 2 years ago I did this and it worked. No, but what about now? I've read more books. I have interacted with other women. So there's other things that I've learned. So to spice it up, constantly study your partner, constantly understand their love language, and then begin to feed into that. Like I know my husband loves quality time. So I know if we're going to have a good time in the evening, or even during the day, it doesn't matter. But if we have a good time, I have to make sure that I make my time for him, because I stay on the run. As you mentioned earlier, I have a wedding decorating business. And so most of the time I'm always like on the go. And with church, I lead a music department in the first service. So I'm always on the go. But I need to always make time for my husband, because I know that's his love language. The moment I miss that point of making time for him, we're going to have a disconnect. So you cannot expect for sex to be the cure. Sex is not the spice. It's just a cherry on top. It's everything else you do to get there that makes the marriage more interesting. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, great point. But there was a young lady that wrote a question. I just wanted to address it real quickly. I think she put yes, but you can show if he is interested. I think it's a very good point. And it comes down to communication. And yes, I'd like to admit, I know Eddie don't get mad at me. Probably going to say a little already know, but sometimes us guys, we can be very stubborn and very hard-headed and stuck in our ways. Don't know why the Lord created us like that. But one thing that we learned, we need to listen to our wives. Just like wife, listen to your husband. So if you're seeing that he is not interested, if you have taken your time to explain to him that, look, baby, in order for us to get back to being intimate and to loving each other and to doing all those things, this is what I need. Because as men, one thing I used to listen to this radio section called Focus on the Family, and this was very good as far as before I got married. It helped me a lot on learning different things about women. But one thing that the ladies on that show always said is that when it comes to intimacy for a woman, it's not at that moment. It's something that you have to create throughout the entire day, especially when you want to spice something up. So it's how you help her get ready in the morning, how you taking care of the children, how you making sure that she's okay, how you communicating to her that you're going to take care of this and take care of that, how you seeing, okay, if she's tired because of something, hey, just relax, babe. How about when you come home, I'm going to give you a foot massage. How about, I see that you're always the one that's feeding the kids. I'm going to take care of that today. I just want you to relax. So it's a love language that's created throughout the entire day, which most men don't realize and just think, hey, it could happen spice. Yes, it does at times, but to create that spice, it takes time. So to address her question, if you see that your husband is still not understanding you, not listening to you, or not showing any interest, at that point, that's what I would definitely recommend that as a couple, you seek counseling. I don't know what church you that you go to, or if you're comfortable speaking with your pastor or any of the ministers there at your church, but that's at that point when two people cannot talk to one another and figure out a situation, it's good to get a neutral third party in there to help your husband see how it's not impacting you. Yeah. And then in that other sense, maybe on his end, there's maybe something that he has not communicated to you that can be said through a third party that's there that will help facilitate all of it. Because without that communication, you're always going to be frustrated. And somehow he may be going through something that he's not communicating with you, hence is probably creating all this disinterest or whatever it might be. Like I said, I can't speak into your situation, but I would definitely ask that if you've done everything that you can to talk to him, then the next step will be very important that you actually go and seek counseling to help resolve this. Because there's nothing wrong with seeing counseling. Remember that the one thing is that the devil will always do everything to destroy marriages. Take away your joy, take away your finances, take away your communication, take it all the way to make sure that the one institution that God created will be completely destabilized, and then it will affect generation after generation after generation. So I'm sorry, I didn't want to be long-winded, but just to address, her question, I just want to make sure that she knows that please, if need be, reach out, for help.
Here's another thing I wanted to add. There's some couples whereby when you have a little disagreement, I know it's normal sometimes in marriage to have a little disagreement, and some people sometimes they will have that in front of their kids. How do you disrespecting your wife in front of your kids? Like they can listen to your conversation. This is how you are talking to your husband or your wife. How do you around that?
We don't believe in disrespect in private or in public. I mean, let me start there. Yeah. For us, if we have a disagreement of any sort, it's like we automatically go to another language because Kaya cannot hear French. So it's easy for us to say it in French and she won't understand what I'm trying to tell him because Fali has a different upbringing than mine, of course. So he would probably say, let's do this, that way. And I'm like, no. So instead of me disagreeing in a language that my daughter will hear, I automatically go to English. But I think the best way is to actually step away and just in a moment, let him speak and, correct the child and do not reprimand your husband in front of your child. That is a complete no. So it's basically hold by the hand and be like, oh, babe, in this instant, find the time to correct each other. I know it's hard. Most of the time we want to just, snap. But what I've seen is that children, they're like sponges. They take a hold of everything, especially the negative. Like anything that you might be saying, like something amazing, they're not gonna get it the moment you slip up. Because we told, for example, Kaya, we told her she cannot say the word crazy, right? Like, don't call anybody crazy. Don't say someone is crazy. That is not okay. So then I'm like talking to Fali and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so crazy. And she's like, mommy, that's a bad word. So you can say it. And I had to find a way to explain. So it's things like that. Like there's so much that we can accept as adults. But as when children are watching us, we have to be a lot more careful. As hard as it is, pull your husband to the side or find another time to talk to them. Or like me, go to French with a smile and be like, non, je ne vais pas ça, blah, blah, blah. So she has no idea what I'm saying.
That's what we do too.
That works, but no, not how you find the kids. We try not, we try not to do that.
That's a major no. Yeah, it can't, because like you said, kids will play on everything that they see and they'll remember. And before you know it, they'll end up causing more problems in your marriage than you even anticipate. So definitely just be wise. You disagree, as my lovely wife said, just take it to the side, sidebar conversation. Even if the kids see that mommy and daddy might be mad or might be upset because they do observe everything, it's okay to just tell them, hey, mommy and daddy just disagree on something right now, but we still love each other. There's nothing wrong. People disagree all the time, and we're going to be fine. What is it? You don't need to know. Just know that.
And I thought of something. It's also how you're raised. Growing up in our house, I never saw my mom and dad argue, go back and forth or anything like that. My dad is one person that was very vocal, and we've always known him as kids to have a short temper, but we never ever, I can remember one time, saw him raise his voice to our mom. But then one thing that was always funny is that but before we go to sleep, if you go past by their room, you will hear them in the room, but you have no idea what they're saying. No idea. You won't even hear the argument, but you know that they probably disagreed on something earlier and they're finding ways to sort it out. And I respected that. So we never saw any verbal exchange. So even when we got married, I told my husband, I was like, look, we can joke about other things, but I'm not okay with you calling me out of my name or to use something to describe me that is, degrading. And that's not in his personality. So I thank God for that. And so when it comes to argument, it's just intellectual disagreement, and then you find a way to be quiet. So when he speaks, I try to just say, oh God, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. I have to tell myself that so I can hear him speak. And then when it's his turn, I'm like, babe, I'm trying to tell you something. So that way we can understand each other instead of like barking, at each other.
And then I gotta remember, speak. Now speak.
He does.
Now speak. Because the way I grew up is more like, yeah, you listen, you hold it in, and then you come back maybe 2 or 3 days later. But that doesn't work with her. So as you communicate, which we go back to, you learn your spouse, you learn, what makes them upset, what makes them mad, what their love language is. And I know for her, it's more like, okay, if I have something, I want to talk about it right away. The way I was raised is more like, I take my time until I calm down or think over everything. But then that could make situations, worse than actually resolving it earlier. So
yeah, and it used to make me so mad when we were dating. Man, I would disagree on something, right? And I'd be like, no, I don't want this, and I give a whole 20-minute explanation, and then I'm like,
2 days later,
what do you have to say? And it's like, come back to you. Oh man.
2 days later.
And then when he comes back 2 days later, I'm over it. I'm like,
wow, it's not over again.
We need to argue in the moment. All the time I'm like, if there's something, don't keep it in. I need you to say it. Because after that, I'm being mad. It has no effect anymore. I need to speak when I'm mad.
She's talking, I'm trying to cut her off. Like, I know where this is going. You're trying to say this. Okay, here's the answer.
No, you give like two sentences. For everything I just said, that's all you have. Yeah. I never wanted to feel like I was silencing his voice. I always wanted him to speak up. Fali talks a lot. Most people think he's very quiet. He talks a lot and everything. But then when it comes to disagreement, that is not his thing. He just does not like disagreement. And I'm just like, no, I need to know how you get mad so I know how to deal with it, so we can spice up later.
Yeah. That's a whole other topic. Spicing up an argument.
Oh, Eddie, sorry. I'm going to jump to this topic because it's a taboo for us Africans. But I gotta say, of course, every time we talk about spicing up, we think of sex, right? And the bedroom and everything. But one thing that I found that has really spiced up our marriage over the years, because most of the time, if I wanted to have our intimate moment, I'll go to Victoria's Secret, I'll go to somewhere nice because I know what my husband likes, and I'll buy that and I'll wear it for him, and it's beautiful. But one thing that really became cool is that I asked him one day, I was like, look, I'm always wearing all these things that I think you love. But what do you like? What do you want to see me in? So seeing my husband go to like Red Doe or Adam and Eve and pick out something for me to wear, that changed my view. Because I was like, this is how you see me? This is how you want to see me? And that was just amazing to us. I was like, I want you to pick it out all the time. Because it just made it more interesting, because I also wanted to always see how he sees me. And I loved it. So women, let your husband pick something out. You might be surprised. It might be whips and chains.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to ask that too.
I'm still waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed, trust me, go, man. You will find a lot of interesting things to help really spice up the marriage.
Oh yeah.
Don't let it be taboo. As we grow, the longer years that we married, you have to find new creative ways to keep things intimate and interesting and not mundane and routine or just the same. And there's a lot of things that are out there to help with that. You know, I'm not in the belief that, oh, you shouldn't dress up or you shouldn't do that. No, I mean, it's in your bedroom, have fun. Do as you please. Explore. That's the reason. That's one of the, like you said, the cherries on top of being married. So why limit yourself to just, as some people, just one or two things, and then that's it. All you want all day is just fufu and pondu, and then that's it.
There's
beans, there's rice, there's jollof, there's spinach, there's goat meat. You got steak. We just want to stick to fufu and pondu. People. So there's many other things. So I say research, do reading as a couple. Find out what creative things are there out there to do that can spice up our marriage, spice up our love life. There's many things out there. There's those stores, there's books, many things that you can do that will help you out. It's just a matter of investing in it and then going. Some things will work, some things won't, but that's the beauty of it. You have a lifetime of exploring.
That's true.
For sure.
So how about the pondu and fufu? Experience some other things.
And the whole we have to wait till nighttime. Wow.
There's also cereal, there's also omelets.
He's hungry. I'm sorry, guys.
It becomes boring sometimes.
No. And when it comes to date night, right? I was talking about date night earlier, but one thing we've always, date night it's like mandatory. It's like the thing that we say no matter what, we have to have this many dates per month, no matter what. So even if it's like, I know, like I said, I'm blessed to have my mom. So she's an angel. She helps us a lot. And of course, the babysitting, but definitely create date night. But one thing I remember when mom traveled 2 years ago, we didn't have a babysitter and mom was in Australia at the time. So what I did was I did a dinner at home. I dressed up the table like we would at a restaurant. I got really dressed up like I was going out, and I put the kids to bed and I was like, babe, meet me downstairs. So he came downstairs and we had our dinner, and that was our date night. So you can do a lot of things that doesn't require money.
Yeah.
That's cheaper. Like even downtown, there are all these bikes that you can just rent for like $dollars, whatever.
Yeah.
That day we just rent a bike and just go around downtown, came back home, that's our date. So it doesn't have to be dinner or a movie, especially now with COVID.
Yeah.
It's very hard to go out, and money, nobody wants to spend money because a lot of us are losing our jobs and just so much negative things are happening around us. But find things that make you guys smile, whether it's just playing Scrabble together. That is date night. As long as it's time away from the kids, please find date night.
You can call it date night. You can call it day date.
Yo, day date.
You can go on a hike. You can go walk in the neighborhood. You can go walk downtown. Just no kids and just you and your spouse and having intimate conversation about every and everything. And you just don't realize how much you actually need it as couples to just refresh, rejuvenate, and recharge. Hence, will all lead back to spicing later on.
Oh, well, go back to something and I forgot. Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
Question for you on the screen.
So what?
Is it a taboo for Christians?
Is it a taboo to do what?
For Christians.
Oh, what about lollipop? Is it a taboo for Christians? What lollipop are we talking about?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Lollipop.
I think when it comes to different things, right? With marriage, it is what you and your husband are comfortable with. One thing that the Bible has mentioned is anal sex. That is a no-no. Anal sex is mentioned clearly in the Bible as a no-no. Everything else that you are both comfortable to do, it's up to you guys to discuss. You gotta have a safe word. Like there's a safe word that we have. When I say that safe word, it's like
This ain't working.
This ain't it.
You said what sex does the Bible say it's a no-no?
Anal sex.
Anal sex.
Anal sex, sorry. Oh, this is a male. Sorry.
Anal sex. That's
Anal
what she
sex,
meant.
yeah. So that's something that the Bible is very clear about, and it's a no-no. But other than that, the world is your oyster.
Have fun. That's that.
Hey,
You get that.
you're married. That's what it's made
That's what it's
for.
made for.
To be enjoyed
Yeah.
in the marriage.
Yeah, because if you don't do it, then what? You know, and especially enjoy your youth when you turn 60 and all that.
Sorry, mommy's saying hi to someone. That's the noise you hear.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So that's what I want to say. So no, for me, it's not taboo. That's my I said. That's between you and your husband.
Sorry, guys. Just 1 second.
Just 1 second.
That's fine.
So yeah, wow, that's very, 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 very interesting.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Doreen says still flirting.
Okay, I think they have
that connected music.
Oh yeah, I agree. You have to all continue flirting with one another. Just because you're married doesn't mean you become dull.
No.
You still have to like the person you're with, and so it's important to constantly flirt with one another and have that tease little things. Even it's maybe this is bad, but let me just say it out there. Put myself out there. Even at church, sometimes I'll be sitting and I see him pass, and I'll wink. I'll be like, hey. I'm just still happy to see him. It doesn't matter where we are. Yeah, or I'll see him after service and give him a kiss. It's normal. It's love, people.
And I look at her and I'm like, babe, you look sick.
Someone say you don't do that in church, you distract the Holy Spirit.
No, what I'm singing. It's when I'm done. When we're done with service. If we service is over, like, hey.
In the midst of it, no. When it's over.
It's when it's over, not during service.
Sometimes I still look at her the same way I looked at her from the time we were dating, you know. And she'll still joke with me. She's like, you're still looking at me like a pervert. I'm like, well, you're my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can remember this, Fali. You really contributed to our marriage. Like me personally, making a decision to move on with marriage. Before we got married, I was very scared. Very scared. I'm just looking at it. Oh, I don't think I'm ready for this. I remember one day we were at your house. We had a conversation. You told me a lot of things. Told me I need to move around. I need to just find a place how to go around. You made it look so easy for me. That really helped. I don't know if you can remember when you just used to live near. What road is that?
Harris Theater?
Yeah, near Harris Boulevard, somewhere around there. I don't know if you can remember.
Oh,
yeah, I remember.
Came to your house and then we had a very long talk. I don't know if you can remember. That was just like days after your wedding. That was really helped me a lot.
Dropped off the car for us, the rental car, and then
exactly,
before we traveled,
Wow.
Right before we, right after we came back, right after we came back, I remember you came by to get and then we sat down and we talked. Yeah, so yes, I do remember.
To be honest, I used to be very scared of marriage. So
now look at you now, huh?
3 years later.
You're not scared something is wrong with you. You have to be scared. It's a big commitment. It's a very huge commitment. We are all scared, men and women. Maybe men more. Yeah?
No, I was scared.
See. I was scared. I was petrified. Yeah, it's a big commitment. So then when you have the right person, I think it makes it easier. I always ask him if he was scared. He's always telling me I wasn't. I'm like, okay, maybe just saying that to make me feel better. But I know I was. I was scared.
I think the reason why people are always scared because what people share, people that are already in marriage, what they share, they always say these negative things about marriage. And that's the reason why we decided to come up with this show.
Yeah.
Because even if you go on social media, you see people sharing all those crazy pictures when you're married, when you're single, like a marriage is like a bad thing, like it's a bad idea. So I was like, no.
Marriage is like a finished school.
Yeah, finished school.
Oh no! Oh
Yeah.
no! I'm a big believer in the joy of marriage. Honestly, it's and I keep saying it's the person that you choose to live your life with that makes it worthwhile. Because if you are with a partner that is basically tormenting or not, you're not connecting, you're not on the same level, communication is not clear, and you don't agree on a lot of things, because you have to agree on so much, and sometimes you don't even have to agree all the way, but you have to respect each other's opinion. So that already puts you at a it's a constant struggle in itself. But for me, I say it's a beautiful struggle, because every day you learn something. But when you love someone, man, even when they have boogers, you think they're cute. So when you love someone, it makes just things easier. It makes things easier for you to deal. You respect them, first of all, and especially men. As women, we have to respect our men and just show them that reverence, because they are, like the Bible says, they are the king of the household. So we have to make sure that we respect them. And even when we state our opinion, that we always say it in a respectful and loving way, that it's not degrading, or that it's not going to cause conflict between the two of you. So marriage is not easy, but it's not difficult, if that makes sense.
You have to work at it. You have to work at it. But I think with what you were saying, you do what you see out there in the world, is because the world has a twisted view on marriage. The world makes you think you get married to get something out of it. Like as a husband, you get into it because you're going to get something out of your wife. For wife, you get into it because you're going to get something out of your husband, which is not the person, because you yourself already have to be happy with yourself before you get married. You can't get into marriage because you're looking for someone to make you happy. That marriage is not going to last. You can't get into marriage because you need that person to now sustain and support you in some type of capacity. That marriage is not going to last. You get into marriage because together you're there to build something as a union. And that's the key. You're building something as a union. But, the way the world has it seemed is completely twisted. And that's why so many marriages are failing. You've seen all the excuses, irreconcilable differences, and so forth. But if we were to stick to the godliness of the institution of marriage, you will see that it will prosper more, because you know that we're working for something better than just ourselves. It's not our own personal interest. It is our interest as a couple, but we're building something for the kingdom as a whole through our union.
That's true.
Yes. Oh,
Wow.
much wisdom. Oh my gosh.
I tell you. Oh, sorry. And for us we're approaching 10 years in May. Oh, yeah, 10 years in May. So one thing that I always did every anniversary is that we did a check-in. So with every anniversary, we'll check with each other, like, so far, would you say I do again? would you want to marry me again? Or so far, what is working? What is not working? And I'll take notes. And I remember 5 years into our marriage, I was just like, oh yeah, everything is good. We're doing well. And I was just like reading this article that says, if your husband has A, B, C, D, and is a perfect man. If your wife has A, B, C, D, then she's perfect. So I'm out there just checking all the things that I found about Fali that I was like, oh man, I got a perfect man. So then I gave him the same thing for him to check the boxes for me. And then he came back with some X's on my boxes, and I was like, what you mean?
Yeah, man, I ain't hear the end of that one.
And then he shows me, and then he says, make more time for me. Communicate before you make a decision. And there was so many other things, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking it's great on my end, but he's just like, nah, we got a lot to work on. So I think it's very important to communicate and be ready to receive that negative criticism when it comes. And when somebody tells you, when you ask them, how are we doing? And you are expecting them to tell you everything is good, and they tell you, nah, things are not good. Now be ready to start putting in the work, so that way you can get it to where in your mind you thought you were. So I think it's very important to communicate and always check in every step of the way, because I might be good today, but tomorrow you might do something that I don't like. So please check in, so that way we can keep, it's a journey. So you want to always make sure that you, just like when you drive from here to DC, you put fuel in your tank. You eat somewhere, so you keep fueling yourself and the vehicle that you have in order to get to your destination. So same thing with marriage. As you're driving and getting somewhere, make sure that you keep feeding your marriage, feeding your soul, putting fuel in your marriage and your soul, so that way you can get to the destination that you want to get to. I think it's very important.
That's a word.
Yes.
Yes.
One thing that she mentioned, like making decision before communicating with you.
Yes.
That one. I'm glad when that. I'll just come and say, "Oh, Willie, listen, I did this, and you didn't even tell me." I'm like, "Oh, so I thought I did."
Man, that's bad. We need to work on that.
You guys,
Yes.
we need to do this again because this gonna continue.
No.
Can you believe it's almost an hour? It feels like it's just 10 minutes.
Wow. 5 minutes. I've just seen that.
Wow. 55 minutes.
No, we thank you guys so much for having us.
This was a pleasure. It was a blessing. It was good catching up. It was good. It was great sharing. I just pray that everyone that listened was able to get something out of this. And as we have a chance to go back and read the comments, that we'll also be blessed by the input that others have put in as well. You know, so I can't wait to read those comments.
Wow.
Yeah.
And guys, keep doing this. Keep doing this. A lot of people need to, share different struggles in marriage and different achievement too.
Yeah.
So really, we wish you guys all the best. This is a wonderful idea, and we love it. I've watched every single one of them that you've had, and I'm really, really proud and very happy what you guys are doing.
So
It's
I'm
wonderful.
blessing your platform. May it continue to move forward. May it continue to increase. May it stretch in the territories that you could not even have imagined, and may get to places that we cannot even imagine. But the day that it happens, we'll all be celebrating in God's glory. Because we need it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes.
We'll need you again. We'll need you again.
For sure.
Guys.
Have a great one. Thank
Right,
you.
take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Wow. What a beautiful couple.
Yes, so much wisdom. Oh my God, Matutus. Wonderful.
Wow,
Amazing.
Wow.
You see, guys, we told you another wonderful couple. That was amazing, babe.
Very, very interesting. I've learned a lot.
We have learned a lot. And I know that you guys too, watching, you learned a lot too. That was amazing.
I don't know about you. I learned a lot.
Oh,
And
I did too.
I gotta do a lot of adjustment here.
Me too. Me too. Oh man, this is the reason why we started this show. The wisdom that's just coming from our guests. This is amazing. It's amazing. And I know somebody's marriage is being saved right now. You are welcome, Marcia. Thank you so much. Yes, I know for sure we'll receive so many testimonies this week with people appreciating the topic and everything that went down.
I'm sorry today we are not reading the comments because the conversation was just going on and on.
Yeah, it was so good. It was just flowing.
Because last time, the last topic we had yesterday, we realized we put a lot of time reading the comments and then we didn't talk too much. We didn't have enough time to talk. So we tried to reduce that, but we are working on this. We need more of this. Yes, Marcia.
Yes, Marcia, yes. And please share the news, share this. If you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're watching from Facebook, go ahead and like the page. We do this every Sunday at 2 p.m. and 2:15 p.m. and 21:15 Zambian time.
And Congo time.
And African time.
Not really African
Not
time.
African time, but
where,
some African countries. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it's 2:15 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming in. And this is Let Love Sparkle.
All right. Let's meet again next Sunday. Same time.
Same time.
Ciao for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.